Hey guys, RockOps Tactical here. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about Flashhole Deburring. When is it needed and what tools do you need? Specifically, the Sinclair Flashhole Deburring tool versus the RCBS Flashhole Deburring tool. Let's get started. On a piece of brass, you have a small hole that connects the primer pocket to the main body of the case. That hole is called the flash hole. So that hole is important because that's what interacts between the primer and the main body of the case and ignites the charge. There's two methods by which they make this hole when they're manufacturing the cases. The first method is with the punch method, where they actually use a punch and push the brass through. As you can imagine, that creates a burr on the other side more often than not. The other method is the drill method, where they use a drill bit-like device that actually cuts through. That method you typically will not see a burr on most of the time, and that's used on your higher end brass, like this piece of Lapua 308 brass. So when we're talking about the flash hole and a burr that might be in there, we're talking about an interruption of part of the blast as it shoots through the flash hole into the main body of the case. When you have this, you have an interruption or a change from one shot to the next if there's a burr and not a burr, which will affect your velocity, your standard deviation, and your extreme spread. This is bad. Consistency is the name of the game. Now, in Brian Litz's book, Modern Advancements in Long Range Shooting, Volume 2, he talks about flashhole deburring and is it always necessary? It is not always necessary. If you're buying high-end brass, more often than not, you're not going to see a burr in the flash hole. So if someone tells you you need to do this to lower your SD, you may or may not, depending on what brass you're using. If you're using Lake City brass, military once-fired brass, you're probably going to need to use it. If you're using Lapua or Norma or Nosler brass, you probably won't need to do this. So, how do you get rid of it? Well, you use what's called a Flashhole Deburring tool. I'm going to show you a close-up here in a second. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, here's your close-up here. We've got the RCBS tool on the right, the Sinclair tool on the left. The RCBS tool is caliber specific, so I'd list that kind of as a con, whereas the Sinclair is not caliber specific. It is universal to just about every cartridge out there. So the RCBS, a pro, is that it does have a threaded shaft, which means you can chuck it up on pretty much any of the universal prep centers, so you're not, getting carpal tunnel as you're grinding here. That's really where the pros end. You can see that the shape of the blade here at the top is beveled, so theoretically if you ground enough you could actually wear away the flash hole, and that would be a bad thing. You'll notice on the Sinclair it has two 564 set screws on it that you can use to adjust. Here the bottom one allows the shaft to move in and out, whereas the top one moves the cone up and down along the shaft. Another thing to point out, it has these two channels on either side. That's going to allow the shavings to move away from the cutting blade, which makes the cutting much easier. Also, it has these two platforms on the side, which will bottom out the bit, which will stop it from grinding too far down, which is a great safety thing to have on here. So I found the Sinclair tool to be much sharper and much easier to use to remove burrs from, say, the Winchester brass that I was having a lot of burrs on. The RCBS, I had it chucked up in a Universal Prep Center, and even with that I couldn't get the burrs eliminated from most. So what you do, slide the piece of brass onto the shaft. Once it's on the shaft, simply rotate. When you feel that pressure, that means there is a burr there that you need to cut, and after a couple of rotations you will feel it release. So again, just slide it on, rotate a few times, and you've cut the burr away. You don't need to press hard. You just kind of let the tool do the cutting. Notice I'm not putting a lot of pressure on that, and it's very easy. So grab another one here, So simply slide it on, rotate a few times, back and forth, and you're done. When you tap it on the table, you'll see the little shavings flake out, and that's how you know you've done your cutting. So that's pretty much it, guys. Very simple tool to use. Highly recommend the Sinclair over the RCBS in this case. And happy Flashhole Deburring. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe for more reloading and gear reviews. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell, if you will. Give us a thumbs up.